U.S. Customs and Border Protection reporting more than 230,000 border encounters during the month of October, establishing a new record. Now, despite the numbers, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas doesn't think there's much to worry about. Take a listen.
Mayorkas, do you continue to maintain that the border is secure?
Yes, and we are working day in and day out to enhance its security, Congressman.
For more on this, let's welcome in retired U.S. Air Force captain and member of the House Armed Services Committee, Texas Congressman Pat Fallon. Sir, welcome back to Wake Up America. Congressman, you pointed out that this is the second time Mayorkas has told Congress the border is secure. Is it even possible for him to be unaware of the situation at this point? How can he get away with saying that? The numbers don't lie.
No, Allison, it's just absolutely egregious. And maybe he's, not living on this planet. Maybe he's in orbit around Neptune. So this is his definition. This is the second time he said it. But he was caught on a hot mic last year saying that the border was chaos. So clearly, I think he knows better. He's just, towing the company line, if you will. 20 months in a row, we've had at least 150,000 illegal border crossings. Just as you mentioned, 230,000 in the month of October, and September was 227,000. And what Joe Biden has done is made the border crisis a global crisis. There's 160 countries represented by people that are crossing the border over the last year. And now, really for the first time, the majority of the folks crossing the border aren't from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, the Northern Triangle in Mexico. 56% of the folks that came in September were from everywhere else. And, we have to talk about the opioid and the drug, the opioid disaster where we've lost 107,000 folks last year alone, Allison, mostly to fentanyl, and that's coming across the southern border.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Jason Jones is in Philadelphia, where Governor Abbott has sent buses, and he says he was walking the streets and he could just see, people with needles in their arms. He covers this crisis for us, and it's just so hard to see the problem, but yet it doesn't seem that the administration is doing anything. With all of this going on, are you surprised that the election turned out the way it did, even specifically in Arizona?
Yeah, no, I am. I really was surprised that we got more of a red puddle rather than a red wave. And I really did expect a red wave. And it's really odd, too, though, Allison, if you look at, we won the raw popular vote in Congress across the entire country by about 4 million votes. And yet still, we're going to be in the majority. And that's only happened, flipping from Democrat to Republican only 4 times in the last 100 years. So it's still a significant victory because they don't give gavels out in small, medium, and large. You have a gavel, you have a gavel. It's a hammer. But yeah, particularly in Arizona, because they have suffered through so much, but the Democrats poured hundreds of millions of dollars into wanting to talk about abortion and shifting the debate. But I think what we're going to see over the next couple of years is Joe Biden said he's not going to do anything different, Allison. So I think, unfortunately, inflation will continue to rear its ugly head, and the border crisis will also continue.
Yeah, so we have about 10 seconds. Do you see Mayorkas getting impeached?
I would love to see Mayorkas get impeached, and we'll file that paperwork if need be because he has abdicated his responsibilities, and it's a gross dereliction of duty.
All right. Congressman Pat Fallon, thank you so much. We appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, Allison. God bless.
Same to you. Rob?
All right, Allison, thank you. It's been a busy week for the GOP. The good news for Republicans, they retook the House, 219 vote majority right now. Kevin McCarthy, likely the next Speaker of the House, 219 to 209 in the House. 7 races outstanding, 4 of those races in California. Nancy Pelosi, by the way, could literally announce her retirement in a matter of hours today. This coming just 2 days after Donald Trump announced he will run for president again in 2024. So a lot happening. I want to welcome back in Wisconsin Congressman Scott Fitzgerald to break it all down. Congressman, good morning. Good to have you back.
Good to be with you, Rob.
So tell us, looks like Kevin McCarthy will be Speaker of the House. Mitch McConnell is going to be Senate Minority Leader again. So big news for the House. You've got the gavel back. Do you think Nancy Pelosi does announce her retirement today?
Yeah, everything in D.C. was about the excitement of us capturing the majority last night. A lot of excitement. And now today it seems that almost all of the House's actions are in the shadow of what is Speaker Pelosi going to announce today? Is she going to step aside? or is she going to try and hang in there again? And no one really knows, and sounds like we're going to find out later today.
Yeah, matter of hours, she'll make that announcement. She'd be in the minority, maybe in a leadership role, who knows? Hakeem Jeffries, Adam Schiff are being floated as possible minority leaders. Take us through Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. What does that look like come January?
There was a lot of excitement in conference yesterday. I know that they rolled out the vote, and there were, 31 Republicans that said they didn't publicly support Kevin. But I can tell you there is overwhelming momentum for him. A lot of the stuff that he has been working on over the last 2 years, and even before that, if you go back 4 years, are things that I think are going to help manage this conference. And it's going to be tough. There's a lot of diverse opinions. If you meet the new freshman class that's coming in right now, a lot of top-tier people, just wonderful people that have been elected and have been added to this conference. But you're going to have to manage things because we're going back to doing real business.
Right.
No more proxy voting. No more magnetometers at the door. I mean, we're going to open the House up, and that was one of the votes we took yesterday, was to say we want to reestablish that the U.S. Capitol is open to the public and to any of our constituents who want to visit us on a regular basis. So it means you're going to have to be in D.C., and you're going to have to do your job if you're a Republican.
I think a lot of people watching right now are all for that. Do you think that we see a situation where Kevin McCarthy doesn't get 218 votes in January, or does the party unify behind Kevin McCarthy?
No, Kevin McCarthy will be the next Speaker of the House. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Okay.
I think there's a little bit of a power play to see if we can't kind of negotiate some stuff. I know there's some members of those 31 that
but
are
that
just
always
looking
happens,
for
doesn't
some
it, Congressman?
answers.
That always happens.
It does.
In the early stages, we never see unanimity. Tip O'Neill didn't have unanimous votes in the 1980s, and he was hugely popular in the Democratic Party. I want to talk about Donald Trump. Big announcement on Tuesday night. CNBC with an article yesterday talking about GOP mega donors who are quietly sort of spreading around the donations. DeSantis getting a lot of donations. Glenn Youngkin in Virginia. What does this look like? This field in 2024. Donald Trump's the first one to announce.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I think that President Trump is out there already. He kind of set the stage. A lot of energy, a lot of discussion with what he offered the other night. And but I will say that there is kind of a side discussion in Republican circles about Governor DeSantis and the success that he certainly had on election night. And Glenn Youngkin is, that's been out there for some time just because he's become, kind of a beacon of light for anybody who really is looking for change, an agent of change. And he's doing it, especially in the area of education. Yeah,
good point. Congressman, congratulations on your win 9 days ago. Look forward to having you back soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to be with you guys.
You too. Wisconsin Congressman Scott Fitzgerald there.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.